You never notice how the quiet ones shake the room without lifting a finger. The world expects noise. They expect you to burst, shatter, explode into something they can predict. But silence crawls under their skin like a warning they can't interpret. I learned that the moment you stop reacting, you stop belonging to their script. And that's when they finally start watching you for real. I used to flare up, quick, loud, easy to read, easy to dismiss. They thought they knew my limits because they heard my voice before they saw my mind. But then came the quiet phase. The phase where every thought tightened like a fist behind my smile. You know that place, the shift where your fury turns into focus, where your breath steadies, and suddenly, their comfort cracks. People don't fear your anger. They've seen anger. They can manage anger. What terrifies them is the moment you go still, because stillness means calculation. Stillness means you're no longer reacting to their choices. You're preparing your own. It's the calm that arrives right before everything you've been suppressing becomes precision, controlled, sharpened, cold enough to unsettle anyone who underestimated you. Silence, it's misinterpreted as defeat. They think you gave up. They think you folded. They think you're shrinking into the background they painted for you. And you let them think it. Because while they're celebrating an illusion, you're building something behind those steady eyes. Something stronger than anger. Something built from clarity, not noise. Something they never saw in you before. The funny thing is, the less you say, the more they start listening. Your breaths feel louder. Your presence is heavier. Your absence is even heavier. They keep waiting for the old version of you to snap back into place. But that version is long gone. You're not playing that role anymore. You're writing something new with every quiet step you take. So here you are, calm, focused, reshaped by every moment you refuse to break. Your silence isn't a weakness, it's a strategy. It's the slow turning of a wheel they didn't know you possessed. And when it completes its turn, when your new direction reveals itself, they'll finally understand the truth. You were never angry. You were becoming something they didn't prepare for. There comes a moment when your voice gets tired of explaining what your actions are already screaming. And on that day, you speak less. Not because you have nothing to say, but because your thoughts have grown sharper than your words. People notice it. They feel the shift, even if they pretend not to. You start moving differently, watching differently, choosing differently, and that quiet change becomes the spark they never expected. You used to justify everything, every step, every choice, every flaw. You thought clarity came from explaining yourself, but all it did was drain you. You spent years handing out reasons to people who never earned the right to hear them. Then one day, silence felt cleaner, like pulling a curtain over the parts of you they kept misreading. And suddenly, your growth stopped, asking for permission. Silence made space. Space for thought, space for truth, space for the version of you that had been waiting behind the noise. You began to see things as they were, not as they told you they were. Every quiet hour carved out new strength. Every unspoken sentence built a wall between you and the chaos. And that's when your path started to straighten, slow and steady, like a line drawn with purpose instead of pressure. People didn't know how to handle it. They were used to your voice filling the spaces between their doubts. But the moment you stopped feeding their uncertainties, they had to face their own. They kept asking questions, pushing, testing, trying to provoke the old version of you, the one eager to explain itself. But you weren't that person anymore. You didn't need their understanding to move forward. The less you said, the clearer your vision became. You didn't owe explanations for your silence. You didn't owe comfort for their confusion. Your stillness wasn't coldness, it was precision, carved by experience and anchored by clarity. You weren't hiding, you were refining. You weren't avoiding, you were evolving. It was a shift they could feel even before they could name it. And so the day you spoke less, everything aligned. Your steps grew intentional. Your thoughts turned into strategies. Your presence carried weight without sound. They wished you'd talk again, because talking made you predictable. But this version of you, the quiet one, the focused one, this is the version they never learned how to handle. They thought your anger was the peak of your power. They thought the loud moments were the ones that defined you. They watched you flare up and fade back, convinced they understood your limits. But anger was just the surface, a temporary spark, a noise they could predict. What they never prepared for was the moment you stopped burning outward and started rising inward, quietly, steadily, relentlessly. Your awakening didn't arrive with noise, it arrived with awareness. The kind that forces you to reassemble yourself piece by piece. You saw the patterns, the people, the traps disguised as comfort. You began to read motives instead of faces. And once you understood the structure around you, you shifted your focus from reaction to strategy. That shift changed everything. It was the moment you stopped playing their game and started creating your own. They didn't fear your rage. They knew how to push it, trigger it, contain it. Rage is loud, and loud things are easy to map. But awakening is different. It's quiet, analytical, disciplined. It rewrites your rules from the inside out. It strips away the lies you once believed about yourself. It makes you unpredictable, not because you're unstable, but because you've finally become stable enough to choose your next step with intention. You stopped giving them the responses they expected. You stopped bending under pressure. You stopped chasing validation that never fed you. Your silence became a sign they couldn't decode. Your eyes carried a focus they couldn't influence, and your presence felt heavier, sharper, more calculated. They sensed the shift before they understood it. And that confusion, that uncertainty, that's what unsettled them. Your awakening created distance, not because you pushed people away, but because they couldn't keep up anymore. You started making decisions based on clarity, not emotion. You started protecting your energy like a resource instead of giving it away like a habit. And every boundary you created became another reminder that you weren't returning to the version of yourself they once controlled. They whispered. They guessed. They wondered what changed. But the truth was simple. You outgrew the limits they built around you. You rose past the stage where their opinions mattered. And in that rise, you became a force shaped by intention rather than reaction. That's why they feared your awakening. Because once you woke up, there was no way for them to place you back in the box they built for you. There's a moment when your own reflection stops being a stranger and starts becoming a witness. Not the polished version you tried to show the world, but the raw one you kept behind your eyes. The mirror doesn't lie, but it took years before it showed you the truth you kept avoiding. Every line, every flaw, every quiet disappointment you tried to outrun. They're all there, waiting to be acknowledged, not feared. You stare long enough and the story shifts. The face looking back isn't the one they described. It isn't the one critics shaped. It isn't the one failure tried to redefine. It's the real one, the layered one, the one built from choices no one else saw. You start realizing how many times you carried weight without applause, how many times you kept going while others counted you out. And suddenly, the reflection feels honest, not harsh. The mirror becomes a teacher, not one that scolds, but one that reveals. It shows how much patience you practiced when quitting would have been easier. It shows how many battles you handled with quiet strength. It shows the split between who you were and who you're becoming. And for the first time, you see progress beyond noise. You see the rise that happened in silence. You see the version of yourself you once doubted but never fully abandoned. Most people avoid this moment. They hide behind distraction. They fear their own truth more than any enemy. But you stood there, face to face with the parts of yourself that demanded change. You didn't run. You didn't shrink. You absorbed every lesson written in the reflection. The mirror stopped being a judge and became a map, a blueprint of the strength you gained from trials others never witnessed. And as you look closer, something powerful settles in. The reflection isn't asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be aware. Aware of what you survived. Aware of what you outgrew. Aware of the potential waiting under layers of hesitation. The truth isn't harsh anymore. It's liberating. Because once you see the full story, you can't pretend to be less than what you've become. So the mirror finally speaks. Not with lies, not with comfort, but with clarity. And now that you've seen the whole story, you carry yourself differently. You walk with the weight of someone who knows exactly who they are. And that clarity, that quiet certainty, becomes the strength no one expected you to claim. Pain walks in without asking. It doesn't knock. It doesn't warn. It arrives like a shadow stretching across your path, demanding to be acknowledged. At first, you fight it. You resist. You try to outrun the sting, hoping it forgets your name. But pain is patient. It follows quietly until you listen. And the moment you turn toward it instead of away, everything changes. You start to realize pain isn't here to break you. It's here to educate you. Every scar becomes a sentence. Every trial becomes a chapter. Pain teaches with clarity no comfort can offer. It sharpens your instincts. It strips away illusions you once held onto. It reveals truths you ignored when things were easy. And suddenly the lessons you avoided become the foundation you stand on now. There were days you thought the pressure would crush you. Days you questioned whether you were built for the weight life placed on your shoulders. But pain kept guiding you forward. Not gently, not softly, but with purpose. It taught you resilience the slow way, the hard way. It showed you how much strength hides behind your doubts. And with every step, you discovered pieces of yourself you never knew existed. People misunderstand pain. They think it's a punishment. They think it's a barrier. But pain is a sculptor. It carves away the parts of you that no longer serve your growth. It pushes you beyond the borders of who you used to be. It forces you to see what you're capable of when comfort is no longer an option. And in that struggle, you evolve. Not by accident, but by necessity. Look back for a moment. Not to dwell, but to recognize. Every challenge that forced you to bend made you wiser. Every disappointment that stung made you sharper. Every loss that echoed inside you built a depth others can't fake. Pain trained you to endure without losing yourself. It trained you to think deeper, move smarter, and rise slower but stronger. And those lessons live in you now, steady and unshakable. So pain, it never stood against you. It stood beside you, guiding you through fire you once feared. You didn't crumble. You didn't vanish. You transformed, quietly, intentionally. And the version of you standing here today is proof that pain was never your enemy. It was the mentor that shaped the strength they never thought you'd claim. There comes a shift where you stop waiting for someone to nod before you take a step forward. The world trained you to pause, to hesitate, to seek approval that rarely came. But one day, you realized that hesitation was costing you more than rejection ever could. So you tightened your focus, steadied your breath, and moved anyway. That was the day your life stopped orbiting around opinions. You spent years asking questions you already knew the answers to. You asked for clarity you didn't need. You waited for encouragement that never matched your potential. And slowly, you began to understand that permission was just another cage, a comfortable one, a quiet one, a cage built from habit, not truth. When you finally stepped out of it, the air felt different. Sharper, cleaner, yours. The moment you stopped seeking approval, your steps grew heavier with intention. People felt it before they named it. They sensed the shift in how you carried yourself. Your choices became less predictable, not because they were reckless, but because they were yours. You didn't explain every move. You didn't pause for validation. You trusted your instincts, the same instincts life spent years sculpting. And that confidence changed the way you moved through every room. Some didn't know how to handle it. They were used to the version of you that hesitated, the version that asked before acting, the version that believed others had more authority over your path than you did. But that version faded the moment you realized your direction didn't need a witness. Your growth didn't need a committee. Your next step didn't need applause. Freedom arrived the moment you acted from clarity instead of caution. And with each step taken on your own terms, your world expanded. You found momentum where there was once fear. You found strength where there was once doubt. You found a sense of identity that didn't shrink under pressure. Moving without permission wasn't rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It was reclaiming the right to steer your own life. A right you always had but never fully claimed. You've walked through every shadow, every truth, every shift that built the version of you they never expected to face. And if you're still here, it means something in you is ready, ready to rise, ready to see what silence, control, and clarity can create when you claim them fully. This journey isn't finished, not even close. The next sections cut deeper. They reveal the edges you didn't know you had and the strength you kept buried beneath doubts. So don't stop here. Watch the complete video. Absorb every line. Let each moment sharpen the parts of you that were waiting to wake up. And before you move on, drop your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters more than you think. Your story adds weight to this path. Every insight, every reflection, every reaction, it helps others rise with you. They looked you in the eye and asked, who trained you? Nobody. And that's the joke. The laugh you hear is yours. Sharp, empty, perfect. They expect a name, a history, a system. But you are the error in their spreadsheet. No one shaped you. No one held your hand. They raised walls around you. You climbed them anyway. Every scar, every misstep, every sleepless night, it was your teacher. Pain wrote the syllabus. Chaos graded the test. And look at you now, standing where they never expected. The world whispers rules. It hums polite warnings. It smiles while it steps on your toes. You feel it, don't you? That tension in your chest, that heat in your hands, that rage coiled in your mind. Perfect. Let it simmer. Let it gnaw. Let it whisper. What if they were wrong about everything? You don't need a manual. You don't need permission. You don't need applause. They wait for someone else to make the first move. They blink. They hesitate. They crumble. And you walk through the cracks they left behind. Quiet, sharp, dangerous. They never saw it coming, and they never will. The mirror doesn't lie. It never lies. Look at your reflection. Study it. Every line, every twitch, every dark corner in your eye tells a story. They expect perfection. They expect polish. They get something else entirely. Raw, hungry, unpredictable. You were never trained to please. You were trained to survive yourself. And that is the seed, the spark, the thing they fear but cannot name. You exist outside their instructions, outside their expectations, outside their tiny cages. You are a question without an answer, a shadow in broad daylight. And when they ask again, when someone dares to ask, who trained them, you smile, wide, sharp, empty. Nobody did. And that is the problem. They smiled at you once, dismissed you with that casual flick of the eyes, a shrug that said, "You don't matter," and you felt it. The sting, the tiny burn that becomes wildfire if you feed it right. Good. Let it consume you. Let it shape you. That dismissal, it is your foundation. Being underestimated is an art. They see your flaws and call them flaws. They see your hunger and call it desperation. But hunger is fire. Desperation is armor. They mistake restraint for weakness. They mistake silence for submission. And while they're laughing, you're learning, watching, waiting, breathing in the air of their ignorance. No one claps for the overlooked. No one writes songs for the ignored. That's the point. You thrive in the corners, in the shadows. Where eyes don't follow, where footsteps don't echo. You move differently, think differently, strike differently. They expect noise. You deliver precision. Silence is sharper than their applause. You feel it, don't you? That rage in your gut? That itch under your skin? That taste of fire at the back of your throat? Feed it. Let it sharpen your senses. Let it make you dangerous. They cannot train you to feel this. They cannot hand you this. You were born to cultivate it alone, to let it twist and mold you into someone they cannot predict. They will mock your methods. They will laugh at your intensity. And that laughter, it will echo in your favor. Each sneer they throw becomes a brick in your fortress. Every eye rolling, every underestimation, it is fuel. You build momentum from their ignorance. You rise because they never thought you could. And one day, they will look up. One day, the casual shrug, the dismissive glance, the soft laughter, it will stop. And in that pause, they will see you. Not the person they expected, not the one they could predict. Something sharper, wilder, untrained, untamed. And when they ask the question again, their voice trembling this time, the answer is the same. Nobody did. Nobody. And that is your power. Look in the mirror. Really look. Not the surface. Not the face everyone else sees. Look at the cracks, the shadows, the corners where fear hides. They think you are fragile. They think you need guidance. They are wrong. That reflection is your only teacher, your only ally. It stares back at you without flinching. Cold, honest, unforgiving. Every twitch, every scar, every twitching shadow in your eye is a message. It is a warning. It is a challenge. You can turn away. Most do. Most lie to themselves. But you stare. You learn. You grow. Pain is a mirror too, and it never lies. Do you feel it? That tension in your chest, that cold sweat on your skin, that jittering pulse of fear and anticipation. Good. That is life trying to tell you something. That is reality pushing against your mind. That is the world saying you cannot. And every time it says that, you say something different. You smile. You nod. You sharpen yourself quietly, invisibly. Truth is brutal. It does not apologize. It does not negotiate. You cannot sugarcoat it. You cannot dress it up. The mirror does not forgive. The mirror does not cheer. And that is the thrill, the fire. That is where you meet yourself. And once you meet yourself there, once you stare long enough, you see what no one else will ever see. Every lie you believed about yourself cracks. Every mask you wore falls. Every doubt, every weakness, every maybe I can't turns to dust. And in that emptiness, in that raw, jagged space between what you were and what you could become, you feel power. Not loud, not flashy, quiet, sharp, precise. Terrifying to anyone who underestimates you. And when they ask again, when they ask, who trained them? The mirror whispers the truth you carry alone. Nobody. Nobody trained you. You trained yourself in shadows, in fear, in fire. You forged yourself where no one watched. And that is a kind of brilliance no school can teach. That is a chaos no handbook can contain. That is you. Everything they told you about limits was a lie. Thin paper walls, fragile fences, rules written by people afraid of themselves. You believed them once. Maybe you even tried to obey. But cages are meant to be broken, always. And you are not built for confinement. Do you feel it yet? The itch in your bones, the fire behind your eyes, that rage that grows when someone tells you enough? That is not anger, that is clarity. That is hunger. That is the signal to tear every restriction down, one by one, brick by brick, whispering to yourself, I am more than you say I am. They laugh at you while you pace in the corners. They think safety is your ally. They think boundaries will hold you, huh? Safety is the velvet glove hiding a fist. Boundaries are the chains you will snap with a smirk. And the moment they blink, that is when you strike. Silent, sharp, precise, like lightning in a dark sky. Your mind is your cage, your routines, your fear of looking weak. Tear them apart. Chaos is a tool. Disorder is a weapon. The tighter they hold, the more furious you become. Every rule, every expectation, every should they dump on you is fuel. Feed it. Let it sharpen you. Let it carve you into something they cannot recognize. Do you feel the power in rebellion? Not loud, not flashy, not cruel, quiet, thoughtful, calculated. The world thinks anarchy is destruction. You know better. Anarchy is freedom. Anarchy is the space where a mind like yours thrives. And once you taste it, once you bend the cage until it snaps, you will never submit again. And when they ask who trained them, laugh. Laugh slow. Laugh sharp. You trained yourself in the fire of impossibility. You broke your cages before anyone else noticed they existed. You are chaos, honed. You are rage, disciplined. You are freedom, and they will never understand it. The arena is empty. The crowd is silent. No one is watching. Perfect. Most crumble here. Most need applause to breathe. But you feel alive. This is where power grows. Quiet, invisible, waiting, sharpened by absence. No eyes, no expectations, no lies, only you. And in that space, the real work begins. You learn your own rhythm, your own speed, your own rules. The world thinks recognition matters. They are wrong. The only witness that counts is yourself. Every move you make in the shadows counts twice. Every thought you nurture in silence doubles in force. The world trains on spectacle. You train on truth. No spotlight, no fanfare, no distraction, only precision. Do you feel it? That intoxicating thrill of being unnoticed while building something no one will ever see coming? That tension, tight as a wire under your skin? That's freedom. That's dominance. That's the quiet storm forming inside you, waiting to strike. Let them cheer elsewhere. Let them judge elsewhere. Let them measure success with their shallow rulers. You have a different metric. Discipline, skill, control. Every second alone makes you sharper. Every unseen effort molds you into someone they cannot even imagine. And when they finally look up, when their casual glance collides with the force you have become, it will be too late. No warning. No guide, no instruction. You are the answer to a question they never thought to ask. Nobody trained you, nobody. And that silence, that invisible power, will make them tremble. Your fears are stalking you. Silent, patient, laughing in whispers only you can hear. Most run, most hide. Not you. You hunt them. You track them. You turn every shadow into a path, every doubt into a weapon. They thought fear would break you. They thought uncertainty would cage you. Fear is a mirror. It reflects exactly what you refuse to see. You stare anyway. You lean into it. You breathe it in. And then you strike. Sharp, relentless, invisible until it's too late. Every regret, every scar, every sleepless night spent wondering if you were enough. It is fuel. You twist it, sharpen it, load it like an arrow. Aim it at the things that try to hold you down. Pain is no enemy. Pain is your ally, your advantage, your silent teacher. Do you feel it? That hunger at the base of your spine, that low hum of readiness in your chest, that quiet, terrible thrill of being awake when others sleep. That is life calling you to attention. That is reality, daring you to rise. And rise you will, not politely, not quietly, but like a storm with teeth. Shadows are not safe. Shadows are not hiding. Shadows are opportunity. Every fear you face becomes a step. Every doubt you conquer becomes momentum. You are not running from darkness. You are running through it, cutting it down, shaping it to your will. And when they ask who trained them, smile. Not a small smile, not a polite one. Wide, sharp, empty. Nobody trained you to move like this. Nobody. You hunted your own fears. You turned shadows into allies. And that is why they will never ever see you coming. Comfort is a coffin. Soft, safe, deadly. Most cling to it. They cling and wither. Not you. You lean into the jagged edges. You crave the sharp corners of life. The chaos that makes hearts pound. The danger that tastes like fire. Do you feel it? That jittering pulse beneath your ribs? That itch in your mind that says something is coming good. That is instinct sharpening itself. That is awareness growing teeth. That is you stepping off the edge and realizing you can fly or fall. Either way, thrilling. The world loves predictability. It craves order. It praises routines and punishes deviation. You are neither routine nor order. You are a ripple in their pond, a crack in their floor, a storm they cannot forecast. And that is power. Pure, unannounced, wild. Discomfort is your ally. Fear of the unknown is your fuel. Every moment you embrace uncertainty, you expand. Every risk you take, calculated or raw, bends reality around you. Others wait for instructions. You wait for opportunity. The edge is where winners are born. The edge is where you sharpen yourself into a weapon. Do you see it yet? Chaos is not destruction. Chaos is freedom. Chaos is control they cannot comprehend. Your mind thrives here. Your body sharpens. Your instincts roar. Every step you take on this edge, every choice without guarantee builds momentum, builds dominance, builds you. And when they ask, who trained them, the answer drips in their disbelief. Nobody. Nobody gave you a map. Nobody held your hand. Nobody whispered directions. You stepped into chaos. You leaned into fear. You became your own method, your own edge, your own reckoning. And that is why no one can ever predict you. Every rule they handed you, every you must, every you can't, every this is how it's done, it was designed to shrink you, to make you smaller, to fit you into a mold they control. You are not molded. You are jagged. You are sharp. You are free. Do you feel it? That thrill of breaking invisible chains. that pulse in your veins that screams, I decide. Good. That is clarity. That is power. That is rebellion. And it tastes better than approval ever could. The weak follow rules. The strong, they bend them, twist them, and walk through the cracks unseen. Rules are a map drawn by timid hands. Rules are cages dressed as guidance. Rules are excuses for mediocrity. You see them. You see their cracks. You step through them. Every boundary becomes opportunity. Every restriction becomes leverage. Most people obey. They follow the lines. They color inside them. They hope for reward. You draw your own lines. You scribble outside, across, under, through. You invent your own chaos, your own method, your own order. And in that creation, you are untouchable without needing the word. Feel the power in rebellion. Not loud, not dramatic, quiet, calculated, thoughtful. Every action measured, every movement precise. And the world is too busy playing by rules to notice the storm forming in the corners, in the cracks, in you. And when they ask who trained them, grin. Not politely, not casually. Grin with sharp teeth behind the smile. Nobody trained you to bend, to break, to rewrite. Nobody gave you instructions. You made them obsolete. You made them irrelevant. And that is why they will never ever predict you. Every scar, every failure, every moment you thought you couldn't go on, it is currency. It is payment for power. Most run from it. Most beg to forget. Not you. You spend it. You invest it. You turn pain into profit. Do you feel it? That memory of being dismissed, of being laughed at, of being ignored. That ache in your chest, that bitterness in your gut. Perfect. Let it sharpen you. Let it etch itself into your mind. Every wound is a tool. Every hurt a lesson. Every loss a step closer to dominance. Pain is precise. Pain teaches what comfort cannot. It is a sculptor, not a punishment. It carves away doubt. It slices through hesitation. It leaves you raw, exposed, ready. You do not run. You do not hide. You face it. You embrace it. You master it. The world fears suffering. It despises discomfort. It worships easy victories. Easy victories make weak people. Easy lives make weak minds. You are not weak. You are forged. You are tempered. You are refined in the fires they refuse to step into. Do you see it yet? Every setback is a seed. Every bruise a blueprint. Every struggle a ladder. The currency of pain is spent only by those brave enough to collect it. You have collected it. You have traded it. You have multiplied it. And now it belongs to you. You've seen the fire, felt the chaos, tasted the power that comes from training yourself when nobody else did. But this is just the beginning. The full story waits, the full method, the secrets they never tell. It's all ahead. Watch every second. Absorb every truth. Challenge yourself. Question everything. And when you rise from it, leave a mark below. Share your fire, your grind, your story. Let the world see that you survived the shadows and came out sharper.